Welcome back to Unspoken Men Truths, where we pull back the curtain on the psychology that most men are living inside of without even realizing it. If you are new here, this is the channel that names what nobody else wants to say out loud. Grab a seat, because today we are going somewhere uncomfortable, and that is exactly where the growth is. Long before men had spreadsheets, plumbers, or tax accountants, survival depended on one thing: the ability to solve problems with your own two hands. The man who could build, hunt, fix, and protect was the man who earned his place. That blueprint is not ancient history, it is still running in the background of the male brain, and evolutionary psychologist David Buss has spent decades documenting how deeply these ancestral drives shape modern male behavior. The problem is that the world has shifted into radical specialization while the brain has not caught up. In 2026, fixing your own electrical wiring, building your own website, and managing your own legal contracts are not signs of competence. They are signs of a man fighting the wrong battle. Yet something internal keeps pulling men back to the struggle, and that pull has a name: the competence tax. It is the subconscious belief that delegating a task is a direct deduction from your value as a man. There is a reason a man will spend 4 hours watching tutorials for a job that a professional could finish in 40 minutes. It is not stupidity, it is dopamine. Neuroscience research from the University of Michigan confirms that the act of problem solving triggers a reward response in the brain independent of the actual outcome. The struggle itself feels productive. The DIY attempt becomes a ritual, a rite of passage that signals masculine worth rather than a rational calculation of time versus result. And when an outside expert enters the picture, someone more capable in that specific domain, the brain processes it as a territorial intrusion. The emotional response is not logical. It is primal. That friction between rational decision-making and identity protection is where most men stall out, not because they lack intelligence, but because their self-concept is too tightly fused to the act of doing. Here's where the psychology gets expensive. Opportunity cost is the most chronically underestimated variable in human decision-making. Every hour a man spends forcing a solution outside his core skill set is an hour not spent generating income, deepening relationships, or building the areas where he is irreplaceable. The hero complex does not just cost money, it costs presence. Men who treat self-reliance as a moral position rather than a strategic tool tend to become isolated inside their own stubbornness, and relationship research from the Gottman Institute links this pattern to emotional withdrawal and chronic conflict at home. The attempt to save $200 on a plumber quietly becomes the reason a man misses his child's recital, delivers a half-finished project, and carries a low-grade resentment he cannot even name. The reframe that changes everything is this: hiring an expert is not a retreat, it is a command decision. The most high-functioning men in business, athletics, and leadership do not do everything themselves. They identify where their presence creates maximum output and ruthlessly protect that zone. Warren Buffett does not file his own taxes. Elite athletes do not write their own nutrition plans. This is not weakness, this is the architecture of power. Strategic leverage, a concept explored in depth by productivity researcher Cal Newport, is the practice of treating personal time as the scarcest resource in the portfolio. The man who outsources the tactical frees himself for the transformational. The audit is where this becomes real. Take a hard look at where your hours are going this week, not where you intend them to go, but where they are actually disappearing. Separate the tasks that are core to your identity and income from the ones that are simply familiar. The 2026 economy has made fractional expertise more accessible and affordable than at any point in history. A man who refuses to adapt to this shift is not protecting his competence, he is choosing obsolescence over evolution. The first move toward a high-leverage life is not a personality overhaul. It is one decision. Identify the task that is draining you most, and make the call today. If this hit somewhere real, do not scroll past it. Subscribe to Unspoken Men Truths and make sure you never miss a conversation that could shift the way you operate.